Hi, I'm Andrew with Grimbeard Leather, and I wanted to start this video off by thanking you for purchasing one of my kits. It really does mean a lot. In this particular video, I am going to teach you how to make this bottle koozie. So your favorite soda, favorite beer, as long as it's in a glass bottle like this, it should fit in the bottle koozie. This is what it looks like not on the bottle. Very simple stitch down the side and stitch down that side. Each kit is going to have different leather in it. It's also going to have different thread color. It's also going to have different foil color. The designs are going to be different. I try to make every product unique so that you could buy 4 or 5 of these, give them as Christmas gifts, and everybody gets something different. This particular one, you're going to get one piece, just like this, that'll have a design on it, or no design in a really cool leather, like a dragon hide pattern or something to that effect. The other side will have a logo on it, and then I'm going to teach you how to stitch it up the sides with the wax thread and 2 needles, and those come in the kit as well. The only thing that you're going to have to bring to the table is something to burn the end of your thread with, and that just gives it a nice clean finish at the end so it looks professional, and a pair of scissors so you can trim the thread. Other than that, everything is in the kit. So just bring yourself a lighter and a pair of scissors and you'll be good to go. In just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and I'm going to teach you how to do the stitching on this particular kit. So I'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to show you how to stitch this up so that it looks something like this. Very simple X pattern down the side. Your design will be on the front, and that's the bottom of your bottle. But this should be super easy to do. You can use other stitches like a baseball stitch, but for this one, I'm just going to show you how to do something real easy. So set that off to the side. You can go ahead and set your thread burner, your lighter, and your snips or scissors off to the side. We won't need those at the moment. Hold on to both your needles, the leather, and then pick 2 pieces of thread. They can be the same color, they can be opposite colors. For this particular kit, you're going to get 2 pieces of each color because we have to stitch down one side and down the other side. In this situation, I'm going to use green because it's kind of a contrast and you'll be able to see the stitches, but you can pick whichever ones you want. Whatever ones you don't use, go ahead and set those off to the side as well. We won't need them. We're going to start with 1 piece of thread. So take this piece, set it off to your side, and we'll come back to that later. And now you're going to want to thread both of your needles, one on each end. I use my thumbnail to kind of flatten out the thread a little bit. This just makes it easier to put it through the eye of the needle at the top. These are harness needles, and they're used for stitching saddles and horse tack, things like that. So they're super strong, a little bit blunt on the end. You can still stab yourself if you push too hard, so be real careful. We'll thread that end. Go ahead and grab your other needle. Use your thumbnail just to flatten that off a little bit. What you're doing is you're pulling the wax off of it and flattening it out. Just makes it go in there pretty easy. And once you have those threaded through there, we're going to match up the ends of the thread like this. Grab both of your needles and then pull down just a little bit so they're about even. You're going to have some excess thread when you're done, and that's okay. It makes it easier to tie the knot at the end. So take your two needles like this. And we're going to start with this side. So match your pieces up like this, and we'll start at the top. Take one of your needles and run it through both pieces of leather like that. And then grab both your needles and straighten them up so they're about even. So that's what it should look like right now. Just a very simple stitch. Take one of your needles and set it off to the side. Take your other one, and it doesn't matter. You're going to go around the outside of the leather and back in through the same hole. What you're doing is you're double wrapping this thread so that you can tie a knot, essentially. So that's what it should look like. Take both of your pieces and pull it a little tight. You don't have to really rank on it because you can dig into the leather too much. Our goal isn't to have it sit like this. We want it to sit flat against the edge on each piece of the leather. So we're going to leave it a little bit loose, but you want it snug enough that it's going to hold it in place. Next, you're going to take this needle and we're going to go over and through, and then over and through. We're going to do that all the way down to the very bottom. So start on this hole right here. We're going to go to the next hole, go through. So it looks like that. Now you're going to go down and you're going to go to the next hole and you're going to go through and you're going to pull it through. And we're going to go all the way down the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this video up real quick until I get to the bottom, and then we'll come back to the top and deal with the other needle. All right, now that we're down at the very bottom, kind of looks like a candy cane almost, all the way down to the bottom, and you want to go through that last hole, and then take your needle and set it off to the side. And we're going to start with the other one, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but flip your leather around, and you're going to go over the top and through that next hole, so it creates an X pattern. And I'll do a couple of these stitches here for you real quick, and then I'll speed the video back up and finish the rest. So here's the third one. So that's what it's going to end up looking like. Do not tighten these too tight. You want them to be loose, because what we need to do is we need to pull this at the very end and make sure that it's flat like that. And if you tighten it up too much, it's not going to look right, and it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So keep these a little bit loose, and then I'll show you how to tighten them up as we go down. So I'm going to speed the video up here real quick and finish this stitch, and when we get to the bottom, I'll be back with you. All right, now that we've made it down to the very end, you should have one piece of thread sticking out each end like this. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is going to lay flat. You can keep it like this, but the bottle probably isn't going to fit inside of this because you're losing a little bit of the space. So go ahead and just pull each of these until it flattens out and just kind of work it down to the bottom. And this is actually pretty good. This is about the spacing that you want it. If they're too loose, that's totally okay. What you'll do is you'll use your needle and you'll tuck it under one of these X patterns, and you'll pull up a little bit, and then go to the next one and pull up a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't take that much. And you're going to do this all the way down to the bottom, and what you're doing is you're tightening that thread in this particular position. I'll finish these real quick and get to the bottom. And the further down you get, the more thread you're going to have, obviously, because you're pulling it taut. And then in just a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to finish this off with a knot, and then we're going to burn the thread from the inside so that it kind of hides the stitch. There's our last one right there. So now you can take both pieces and pull it. It should tighten that last knot right there. So you just have to kind of work with it a little bit. It takes a little bit of elbow grease. This last one, you're going to go over the top and through this hole, and use your other needle to go over the top and through the other hole. So these should be sticking out the back like this. You'll go ahead and pull those through. That's what it looks like on the outside. So it looks just like the top piece. And we'll lay that flat. Now you can remove your needles. So we'll put those off to the side. And you'll see these little white flecks all over the place. These are pieces of wax from the wax thread. So it's not going to hurt your surface at all, or it shouldn't at least. No. What you're going to do is just tie a normal knot. Just wrap it around once. Pull it tight down to the bottom. And it's kind of hard to see, I apologize, so I'll try and get that open. So you're going to pull it tight right there, and then you're going to do a double knot. So wrap it over once, over a second time, pull it tight, and there you go. That excess wax there will melt in just a second. So next what you're going to do is you're going to grab your scissors, and you're going to cut. And you want to cut close, but not so close that that you don't have any thread left over. So you actually want some of that thread right there, so that when you take your thread burner, it's going to melt it. And it's going to melt that wax and melt the thread, and then use the metal piece to push it, and it flattens it out, and it gives a finished edge on the inside of the leather. So the outside looks like this. And there's one side. So all you're going to do is you're going to repeat that process on the other side of the leather. If you wanted a wider stitch, kind of like I did on this particular bottle, you would skip a hole as you're going down the side, and it'll give more of an X pattern. But I like the close one a little bit better. I think it just makes it look nicer. So set that off to the side. And now we're going to go down the other side. So we're going to thread our needle just like we did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up just for time, so you can rewind the video and go to the other piece. But I'm going to do this really quick, and then we'll come back at the very end and I'll show you how to fit it onto the bottle. So I'll be back with you in just a second. there you have it. You just finished a bottle koozie. Pretty simple. You just did the stitching down the sides on both sides, and now you have a finished product that you can either give away or keep for yourself as something cool. If it doesn't fit the bottle, go ahead and just pull. Just stretch it out a little bit. Don't do it too hard. I mean, you can tear the leather, but it's pretty stout stuff. I don't use cheap leather or cheap thread. So if it doesn't quite fit around the bottle, go ahead and stretch it out a little bit, put the bottle in, and let it sit there for a while. It will eventually adhere to the bottle. So there's another design that I have there. Each of the kits are completely different. You're going to get different foil colors, different thread colors, different leather. Some of the other kits that I offer, minimalist wallets. So I teach you how to stitch up just a pocket wallet to keep your cards and bills in. I also have a healing potion kit. So you can make a physical representation of the healing potions from your favorite role-playing game. So if you need a supreme healing potion, you can pull it out, roll the dice, count up the numbers on the dice, and there you go. Now you have something physical to use at your role-playing game table. All these are kits. Thanks for joining me, Andrew with Grimbeard Leather. You can also check me out on Facebook and Instagram to see what's coming down the pipe. So have a great day.